Hello, it is William calling from Louis Blogs. Joining us today is a very special guest. He is the Bulgarian songwriter, music producer, Eurovision composer extraordinaire, Borislav Milanov. Hello, Boris.
Hello, William. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much for this opportunity and for the time.
Oh no, thank you for your time. Now,
I mean, we have now a little bit more time, but yeah.
yeah, we're both at home. Everyone knows who you are, but just in case, I want to point out you've had a dozen Eurovision songs since 2011. Three of these, I believe, came in the top four: Christian Kostov's Beautiful Mess, Polygenova's If Love Was a Crime, and Caesar Samson's Nobody But You. You had three songs in this edition of Eurovision 2020, which has sadly been cancelled. That was Bulgaria, Victoria with Tears Getting Sober, Germany, Bendalic, Violent Thing, and Malta, Destiny, Chukuniere, All of My Love. Now, we've got to ask you, the EBU has decided that the songs from 2020 are not allowed to compete in 2021. What's your reaction?
Yes, William. I will answer you the question about the decision. But first, I wanted to point out that I'm Bulgarian, but I'm living in Austria, grew up in Austria. So I consider Austria as my second home country. And that's why I also had the chance to do the song for Austria together with Caesar Samson that I know from my childhood and the symphonics team. So basically my best results were with my two home countries. So, and based on them, after that, depending if, for instance, last year Bulgaria didn't participate, Austria chose a singer-songwriter who wanted to write his own song. Based on this success, I started to be invited from other countries for songs. So I started actually for working for my two countries, let's say like that. So yeah, the decision. I wanted first to say I'm not here only to speak from my point of view. I got approached a week ago from the representatives from the Switzerland songwriting team, from the Swiss song. This amazing song, which I can openly say now was definitely, I think, my favorite or one of my favorite songs this year that I would have voted for. A beautiful song, an amazing artist and singer, and the Azerbaijan team. So basically, they approached me and said they are preparing something, a letter, a movement where they want to collect signatures. They want to kind of claim the decision or at least be heard about the injustice that they felt. And they asked me if I want to join. And I said, of course, I will join because I feel the same. And after that, when we finished the letter, they asked me if I can send it in general. If it was kind of since they said that I'm a little bit more known and have already done a lot in Eurovision, if I can send the mail and in general speak out a little bit more for the group. So that's why I'm today also speaking their name. They all left me some statements. And I will read it to you later, what all of them think about that decision. So first I'm going to start with my answer. I personally think that it was definitely a very hard situation for the EBU. We have to all to feel that, and we know it's a very hard time for the whole world. And I think our generation didn't experience something like that before. Things that were safe and certain are not anymore. So it's definitely very hard times. And I think in hard times it's very hard to make big decisions too. Especially when this happened with Eurovision, which is it's a big event. I personally did events too on my own, which are not that big, and I know how it is if you have to cancel, reschedule, or postpone. How many decisions you have to make. So I want just to say that I understand the pressure they were under. making this decision. What I don't understand is, since we till now still don't know for sure, and especially back then, but the decision was made 2 days after the cancellation, we didn't know, and we don't know still if it's going to be really Rotterdam next year. We don't know what's going to happen with COVID-19. So if there's going to be even a Eurovision in May, we don't know that. So I think there are so many other decisions who are definitely more important to be made now. I don't understand why this decision was so rushed from the reference group to say, okay, there is no chance that any country can even have the chance to use the current songs for next year. Yeah, this is something I personally don't understand, but maybe there is a reason. That's why I'm just saying what I don't understand. I personally think it was not the most important decision to make 2 days after the cancellation, especially after really so many wanted to have the chance to use the song, and also not really considering all the work from the songwriters, publishers, music producers, the labels. I don't speak only about investments, I speak also about hard work, time, passion, emotions, dreams, they're standing behind that. Because I personally would have suggested that you take a little bit more time, then consider if there is a chance to make a decision that is most close to pleasing as many people as possible, because there is never a decision that pleases everyone. We should all know that. I mean, if somebody thinks there is a perfect solution that everybody will be happy, that's an illusion. I'm not delusional, so I'm sure, at least in this case, I'm not. I know that it's not possible to please everyone. But I think you can always, after taking your time and considering and talking with here and there and putting some things on the scale, you can find a solution to a problem that is more close to pleasing as much as possible, let's say, parties, because we have here the EBU, we have the host, we have the delegations, we have the artists, the artist team, managements, labels, and we have the songwriters. This is all of the parties, and we have the fans, of course. I should not forget the fans, which is actually keeping all this alive. And the medias, like you. So, yeah. So basically, we have all of these parties, and my suggestion would have been to give the free choice to each country to decide if they want to use the song again. But what we would have done, I mean, I cannot speak for all of the countries, but I would have suggested following, and we discussed it with the Bulgarian team and with Ben and also with the Maltese team, we would have definitely written new songs, because we're not afraid of writing new songs. I mean, you know me, William, I don't have a problem writing songs, and I enjoy, this is my job, and I enjoy writing songs. So writing new songs is not a problem. We would have started writing new songs. And these new songs would have been put again into a focus group, into internal selection. We would have, and the only thing we wanted is to have this song from this year inside of that selection compete again against the new songs. And then after that, making the decision. Because this is something that, and also for us wouldn't have been a problem to put down the song now. It's released, we put it down, and we release it after 1st of September or in October, November, doesn't matter. We release it again. And so that there is also not this situation where they think that you have kind of like that one song is getting more promotion than another. Let's put it like that. So this is also a way you could have avoided that point, for me personally. And also putting the song again into an internal competition it's making the song even harder, I think. And if it wins again, which that means maybe this song was meant to be. this is how I feel about it.
It's interesting. So my next question was going to be, would songs feel stale if they were reused a year later? However, what you've just said is you would resubmit these songs in your own internal selection to test that effectively, to see if they're still fresh.
And also willing to put them down for a while so that people don't say, they've been for 14 months. Because if you see like this, usually we would have been allowed after 1st of September to release them, right? Yeah. We have now from the 9th of March till now, how much? 1 month? 1 month and something. What?
Yeah, it's been a few weeks.
Okay, a few weeks. So if we put them down now and release them in October or in November, we don't release it straight after 1st of September, we release it in October, November. So this time we won now, we just, for instance, I mean, you understand what I mean?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. So basically, then it wouldn't be like unfair that we had these 4 or 5 months more than other new songs would have. Another thing that I want to answer on your second question is why I don't think that I think it's irrelevant about the results in Eurovision. Is because I recently read some statistics and studies from a company that is doing statistics about Eurovision, and talk to people who are also knows a lot about the phone calls, the SMS, votings, and made statistics around that. That in general, in the best case, from the 9th of March till May, 8 to maximum 10% of the full audience has seen the videos which are online or heard the song. If we say that we put down the songs and have them again from October, November, let's put it double. Let's put it even to 18%. Okay? 18, 19, 20%. This is like the absolute best case if you have a good promotion and so this is still a very few percentage of the potential viewers who would have voted live. And then we have also the thing that that at the end of the day, not the videos are getting the points, not the songs on the radio is getting the points, but the performance. And the performance is judged by 50% juries. And this jury is judging not the song that was released in the video, they're judging this performance in these 3 minutes. We know that a lot of songs that have been released, very well produced on stage, they drop because of the performance. Or opposite, songs which are kind of a dark horse, before that, with a great performance, go up. So 50% of the votes anyway, which is the jury, anyway, right now, we are not having anyway. So how can this impact on the decision that the song is old? Mm-hmm. And the other 50% are the voters, and 80% of them who are watching wouldn't have seen it anyway. So I think this argument that this will impact on the results is, for me, not logic. I personally don't see logic. And there's statistic evidence for this. It's not just because I want just to have right, and I think I'm right. I think there's enough evidence for this. So with this suggestion that I proposed, I personally don't see that it harms anyone. I don't see an unfair solution there, and I think this putting into consideration the rule till the 9th of March, which I want to get into that. So basically, that we are obliged to release the song latest till the 9th of March. So this means that around the 9th of March this year, even before, there was already the corona problem getting into Europe. On the head of delegation meeting, a lot of delegation couldn't come. Some of the EBU representatives couldn't come. So there was already the danger about the cancellation or postponement. We all hoped it's not going to be, but people knew there is a chance for this. But we still released the songs because there's this rule. We wanted to get the chance. The countries want to get the chance. And then because of this being forced to release songs, now they say you cannot use them because you released it before the 1st of September. So, which I personally also don't see logic, and I see it really morally and even legally, I think, unfair. This, to put it like that. And taking this rule in consideration, the consideration that definitely most of the really important people who gonna vote on the evening wouldn't have known the song before that, or would vote something different than the video. And the idea of putting it down and putting into an internal selection again, all of this together, I think it's worthy to be considered as making an exception. If you put all this together, then you could think about, hey, maybe we can make an exception. Why are we not? It's an exceptional situation. It's something never happened. We don't have even rules written for situations like that, because the EBU doesn't have a rule for force majeure like that. So why are we not putting all this under consideration and giving just a chance, and just valuing and showing and giving a sign that we care. We care about the investments of monies of the delegations. We care about the investments of the labels. Even more, we care about the hard work and the dreams of the songwriters, I think, and some of the artists, which are, so basically, I think that would have been a great sign and a great, that would have been a strong position from the EBU and from the reference group.
And about the March 9th deadline, did you find, obviously you just mentioned in early March, we were well aware that COVID-19 was spreading, this was in the background, but songwriters, I suppose, were forced to kind of finish their songs quite quickly. And if there had, if people had known Eurovision would be canceled, would you have approached things differently, I guess? Would you have rushed to finish the song so quickly if you knew it wouldn't be used?
No, not at all. And also some of the songs, I can speak for the songs that I'm involved in, they would have maybe have a different destiny. They wouldn't be we were thinking the song for Malta was actually, we thought to release it with Bernarda, and after talking with her, and she said, I would love Destiny to sing that song, and let's do this, and so basically, this was a last moment decision. Malta called me on the 2nd, 3rd of March, and we finished it till the 9th. Wow. So basically, it was a last minute thing. It's not actually also even officially released, because if you see it's nowhere released, we didn't have time for that. So it's only I gave it to the TV station, they gave it to the EBU, they put it on the official YouTube channel, which is basically, I have to say in that situation, it's not an official release, because still Symphonics is the master owner and we haven't released it. So it was, of course, due to the being fast, we have to deliver deadline. But this song actually is not actually even released legally for me personally. But that's another point. Here we don't talk about this thing now. I just want to say that this COVID-19 is really something very serious, and I think we should all know it's a very serious threat, and definitely in situations like that, also after the crisis, because I believe very much that we're gonna manage and the humanity will defeat this disease, but after that will be a huge problem with the economic situations of the world. We know that. So I think also in times like this, there could be also thought about economic justice too, and you will see on the statements, on first place, all of the writers have a moral issue with this decision. They really feel like they got robbed of their dreams, of their chance, and of their hard work. That's on the first place, and then some of them have, of course, also financial issues with this decision. So why I'm saying this is because being in a situation like that in the world doesn't mean that we should only sit at home, watch the numbers go high, watch the news all the time with a negative, how everything is going worse and worse, and not think about our future or things that now concern us, and just switch off the brain and not fight for justice that we think is justice. So I don't think it's also, I read some people writing, Why at all in these times you're bothering about these things? I mean, I really hope, guys, that for you right now, the world is and life is not only following the news about COVID-19. I really hope you're thinking about the future of your families, of yourself, of your business, about everything, because this is something you should do now. And if you see there is some injustice, why not speak out? We are only speaking out. We are not going on a war or something. We still have compassion for all of the victims. I can speak for myself. I joined now a group with trying to collect money for respirators for Bulgarian hospitals, because Bulgarian hospitals have really no respirators. So I'm doing my thing on my and I will post it soon on the Symphonic site. Everyone who wants to donate can help. And as I said, I think each of us can do a lot by staying home, by isolating himself, but also by still trying to keep his life as much as possible, because I think the biggest problem of this virus is not only the health one, but is the panic and the fear. And I personally don't see really a problem. And all of the writers our collective who come up with this, who are really right now claiming that the decision was unfair, are doing this because we continue our life still. And the one has nothing to do with the other. So when somebody tells that right now is not the time to claim and fight for your justice or for against injustice that you feel, I think now is even more the time about it, when this is concerning your future and when it's also about your dreams. And at the same time, you can say it was not the time right now to make such a fast decision without really talking with everyone about it that concerns this. So it is, as I said, I saw that people were writing this, and I personally don't see this as an argument that we should not speak out and try to debate about this decision in a civilized way.
Right. You're obviously very aware of the pandemic. You're self-isolating, but you can also look to the future, because hopefully life will go on in the months ahead.
It will go on, for sure. I'm sure about it. I'm always positive about it. And it will go on, but it depends on how it will go on. I will start with Lithuania, okay, with the team of Lithuania. We feel we lost not only money as the authors and producers, but most important is that we lost an opportunity to have Eurovision in Lithuania. For the first time ever, we put so much effort to have a proper show and a song. We had so much love from Eurovision fans. We feel sorry not to meet them. At first, we were sure that Eurovision will happen anyway in a different format. But now we feel that someone just don't want to take the responsibility. It seems that we are just kicked out. This is Lithuania, the songwriters of Lithuania. So for all the critics and also this specific ex-head of delegation who was criticizing me, it wasn't not you were criticizing all of these people, not me, just alone. The Switzerland songwriting team, there's a gap that's been growing for years. That shows that Eurovision Song Contest is turning into a Eurovision Artist Contest. Songwriters need artists to bring their work to life as much as the artists need songwriters to be able to do their magic on stage. Let's not forget that the whole concept of Eurovision starts with a song. It's the foundation upon which the whole show is built. With the decision that the delegation can choose to go again with the same artist, yet not with the same song, confirms this gap once more. Each country should have been able to have the same choice when it comes to the song, even if it's just going into a new pitch. Let's also not forget that songwriters, unlike other professionals in this contest, aren't paid for their work, which means that all of those people will never get to see any revenue for all of the hours they put into the creation of all the great songs for this contest. All we ask for is a fair consideration of all the people involved in this great contest. Team Répondez-moi, Switzerland, a song that I would have loved to see in this Eurovision. Maybe my main competitor or one of the main, but I love this song and this artist, by the way. My dear fellow Caesar Sampson, becoming third place 2018, first place at the jury, co-writer of his own song Nobody But You, and co-writer of Malta's song All of My Love. Not letting the delegations artists choose which song they are going to send to the Eurovision 2021 was, in my opinion, a poor decision on behalf of the EBU, a thoughtless and careless one. The way this was announced so swiftly and over the heads of so many people involved show how we are all still rattled by recent events and the crisis we are in. On every level, administrations are only trying to react fast to present solutions in an effort to self-stabilize. All too often, this brings a whole other set of problems with it, namely when entire groups of people are being overlooked in the process. And in a format that calls itself Song Contest, but nowadays hastily hands out songwriter awards backstage, it is not surprising that it's the creatives that will suffer now. Because make no mistake, this is about economic survival just as much as it's about creative freedom. The teams behind each Eurovision entry 2020 considered the lion's share of their rights to the EBU. The trade-off was supposed to be international exposure and marketing. True, it's not the EBU's fault they cannot keep their end of the agreement this year, but it will be the EBU's fault if they deny those songs a chance of a second life in 2021. The chance, we're speaking here all the time about the chance. We don't want it mandatory. This is something people should understand. We are fair people. We don't want, like they're saying you have to do this. We don't say you have. The free choice. This is the whole point of this. At this point, only a very small percentage of the European viewers, listeners have even heard the songs. It's not too late. Let delegations decide how they want to move forward in 2021. The songs that were particularly strong this year will be just as strong next year, and the countries that could have done better will get the chance to do so. So all win. Caesar Sampson, artist, songwriter, and it's great English, this guy. I have to let him write my speech next time.
That was excellent.
So we move on to this Azerbaijan team, you know. So my name is Elroy Scott from Los Angeles. I'm 63 years old, veteran American songwriter of over 40 years in the global music industry, with a Eurovision dream for most of those. And I'm co-writer of Cleopatra, the song selected for Eurovision 2020 representing Azerbaijan, as performed by Samira Effendi. I have worked so long for this chance, hour after hour, year after year, going to writing camps, traveling around the world at my own expense on a speculative basis, countless writing sessions and recording studios, all in pursuit of the glorious dream known as Eurovision. And I finally got there. By the way, the song was also considered as a favorite also for the competition. So he just not only got there. And it is the same story for many others like me from all 41 countries. It is therefore particularly cruel to us behind the scenes, but so crucial contributors to the Eurovision story and success that the artists involved should have the chance to make their own decision on whether to perform again in 2021, but not the songwriter and producers who are the very foundation the whole creative story stands on. We fully deserve the same opportunity. At my age, this was maybe my last hooray, my shining moment, my dream come true. It also should be clearly known that we don't get paid anything for any of our efforts upfront like all others, and only maybe get something later. Maybe, yeah. And we don't share in the visual glory the artists do either. It is all in the love of doing it for the song and for others first and foremost. I understand, like everyone else, the reasons Eurovision was cancelled and fully agree with that, as a safety and health must come first for all. But that still doesn't justify the songwriters being left out of the rebirth of Eurovision in Rotterdam next May. Please give each country and artist the chance to include a song that got them there too.
Wow.
That was a strong one. But, you know, I have to say, from the Switzerland team, one of the writers, he said also another comment. He said, I'm not sure if I want to at all participate anymore in this. You know, this is a result. Like they're shooting each other in the leg, because the delegation, the EBU, is profiting of these songwriters, and you have here songwriters who maybe don't want to work anymore, and this will and songwriters are talking with each other. maybe all the strong songwriters will not work anymore. They will concentrate for something else. But you know, because Greg Watts, who actually started the whole thing, I think I should honor him and read his statement.
Please.
Hi there, I hope you're all well. My name is Greg Watts. I have worked in Eurovision for the past 5 years and as a songwriter, publisher, and also music consultant for the BBC and UK in 2019. This year, I was part of the creative process of Azerbaijan's entry, Cleopatra. I have already written personally to the EBU and the reference group, as I believe the decision about not allowing 2020 songs in 21 has been rushed, but maybe even more importantly, I believe the show is an ongoing larger issue where songs, songwriters, and publishers continue to be the bottom of the food chain. I believe that we should be seen equally to everyone else who is involved. Here's a summary of my mail. As someone who has been a songwriter and a publisher, I have been involved in Eurovision for many years now, with 8 entries in the past 5 years, including Cleopatra, representing many countries along the way, including 2019 as a music consultant for the BBC. I have seen the many ways that songwriters, publishers are treated, acknowledged, and sometimes not even credited or considered, and I think this is something that needs addressing. I also recognize some great names in your reference group, some of who I've had the pleasure to work with or meet, but I wonder from looking at this list why they decided like that. Is anyone involved from outside the world of TV? Is anyone representing songs, songwriters, and publishers, or even consulting this reference group about it, having knowledge of that side of the business? As I believe it would be good to have someone involved who does to bring their perspective and songwriters' rights, issues, and feelings. So many of us love the contest and work hard for it. But believe me, my experience is we are often overlooked, for example. The situation we speak about here, where songs are not allowed to move forward to 2021 or even get the chance. On this one occasion, which is out of everyone's hands, I see no reason that certain rules can't be changed. The delegation should be given a choice like they have been with the artists. We're often overlooked on credits on TV shows, YouTube, Spotify. There doesn't seem to be anyone policing this and making sure that we get the credits for the work we have done. If the song that you wrote has millions of views of the video on YouTube, that's millions of people seeing the work you have done. So if you take a look how many songs on the EBU channel have credited songwriters and publishers, you will see it's very low, and this is simply wrong. We're often overlooked when it comes to accreditations for the actual show. Surely this should be a right of a songwriter and publisher to be involved with seeing their work performed. We often have to sign contracts that have no conformity, that are often badly translated, and that we have to have majorly checked by lawyers. Often songwriters cannot afford to do this, especially when they aren't paid until they receive royalties from songs years after release. It would be more sensible to have standard contracts and someone who could help the writers to go through this. The list goes on, but generally points to songwriters having no one to represent their rights. Surely, as this is a song competition, the writers of the song should be as important as others. No one is asking for them to be more important, just to be equal with others involved. This is a Eurovision Song Contest. Please don't forget the song and where it came from. I'm passionate about the competition. I've watched and helped it change over the past years. My delivering quality competition, the songs and productions, as well as organizing song camps, mostly at my own expense. I've encouraged writers to compete and raised awareness of the competition. I would love to stay involved and help you make the competition even bigger and better. But we have to start to work together to improve things for songwriters. I'm already hearing this week about many that want to walk away due to this decision. This saddens me deeply, as I would love the competition to continue to grow. Please consider what I'm saying seriously and think about having a songwriter, publisher, consultant in your group that makes these decisions. So far, I have no response from my mail.
And I just want to pick up on 2 things you said. The first was about communication about a decision. Thomas Schreiber from NDR in Germany has released a statement saying Germany was not consulted. I'm curious, were you or the delegations you're involved with consulted, or was this all taking place above everyone's head?
from all the delegations that I spoke to, and these are not only the delegations that I wrote the songs for. They said they were not consulted. It was not talked through. There was in the beginning some kind of a chat, this is what I heard, and where most of the people were about not for this rule, actually, is what I heard. You know, in that chat was the majority for not keeping the same songs. And then there was a silence, and suddenly it was decided and put out online with this, you saw that statement. So this is how it happened. For me, it was a huge surprise, because I even heard before that from delegation that I work with, there is really a chance we can have our own choice. And then it suddenly, there was a statement. And I think also I have to say that after the Switzerland team and the Azerbaijan team approached me, and we did this mail, I mean, they had prepared something. I added my point to the 9th of March thing. This is what I added to it. And after we sent the mail to the EBU but didn't receive any response, then I saw, and I'm really saying that was a very good thing that Thomas Schreiber did, because it's his right to say things like that, especially as the biggest country in the Eurovision, with paying the biggest license fee, I think, or one of the biggest license fees, and contributing so much to the Eurovision as one of the big five. I think it's his right to say this. And then what I did is I commented under that. Actually, a lot of this, what I comment, was actually part of our letter to the EBU. So basically, it was the reason, because, as I said, I'm not a person who likes to do to solve problems and issues online or over Facebook or someplace like that. But I saw it as a field of discussion, especially after I saw his statement. I wanted to support it and just point out that there is not only the delegation were actually not informed, and there was no conversation with any publisher, any label, any songwriter. And then you can look at the reference group from Germany. I think his name is Frank Dietrich, maybe Freiling or
Frank Dieter Freiling, yeah.
Frank, yeah, from the ZDF. So basically, the spokesperson of the reference group, who is supposed to represent the German part in the reference group, or even if he's not supposed to represent the German part of the CDF, is not doing the Eurovision of Germany, at least not the last years. This year it's the NDR, it's Thomas Schreiber. So I don't understand why he didn't even call him to consult with him as a German broadcaster to a German broadcaster, and saying, hey, you invested all of the money, you've done all the hard work, what do you think about this situation? This is for me extremely untransparent. I mean, not consulting, having a German member there who has nothing to do with German entry this year, and who is another TV station. I mean, where is the logic behind that? Maybe there is some, which I don't get. So that would have been also one of my questions to the EBU. And then you have two people from Israel. I don't know why. Maybe because they hosted last year, or that's the only thing I can think of. But I still don't understand why we have two people from Israel there. And then you have Slovenia, Armenia representative, head of delegations. These are all head of delegations. Switzerland, Jan Ola, Sand and Red to Peritz are from Switzerland there, representing Switzerland. And then you have Portugal, Great Britain, and the Netherlands. I think that's it. Okay, so...
Oh, and I guess just to clarify, I think the EBU Reference Group, for people who don't follow, their goal is to kind of be slightly detached. So the gentleman from ZDF is he's the chairperson of the reference group, is meant to be an outside influence, sort of neutral in a way, making decisions. And then on the EBU Reference Group, you have representatives from the past two hosts of Eurovision, so in this case, Portugal and Israel. So I think that might explain the additional Israeli member.
Something I didn't know. Good that you explain it. Because for me, but still, this for me, this doesn't. How can his group represent the interest of all broadcasters at the same time. I find it a little bit, but that's my personal opinion. Maybe there is a logic behind it. I don't want to say that I know everything and I'm always right, but for my personal logic, if there is a reference group which should represent the interests of all broadcasters, to be that small and so having so many members from the same country, like 2 from Israel, 2 from Switzerland, and then from Germany, but he's actually external, so he's not representing Germany inside. So basically, and there is no dialogue really with the other broadcasters, how can this be a representative of all broadcasters? This is what I don't get. But okay, and also let's put it like that, from all the top 10 candidates by the odds and by a lot of fan votings, only Switzerland was represented. And the Switzerland songwriting team was the first approaching me about this thing. So this is also very interesting, you know. So basically that means even that the representative of Switzerland in the reference group didn't even talk with his own songwriters about it, which is, again, for me, I think the fundamental issue of this situation. I don't think that we as a collective now are really pointing out the situation and claiming the decision because of this cancellation and the coronavirus situation. I think in general there is something that is not really right with the attitude from the reference group, the EBU, some delegations, and the whole people outside of the creative field towards the songwriters. I think there's a general, I would say, not really fair behavior, and there is no really a communication going on. This is, I think, the thing that we want to point out. And as I said, I'm here really from all that I collected. I'm really the most privileged one, I have to say, really. I've done really great results on Eurovision. I had so much fun. I made many friends. I met my wife through it. I can say it openly. We even conceived our daughter between semi-final and final in Portugal. So basically a Eurovision baby. So I have so many good memories of Eurovision. But the thing, William, is that this is not the point. I have this because I worked hard. Me and my team, we worked good. We had we started for Bulgaria, my home country. I'm glad that the BNT chose to work with me, and after that everything expanded. So I'm very grateful to the Bulgarian national broadcaster for believing in me and my songs in the beginning, and then after that, anyway, when something is going good, why not still working together, So I think that's the whole point, that I'm here actually, that I could sit back and write another 3-4 songs next year and say, so what? But this is not the point. There is really a moral thing, because this is a song contest, and the songwriters, it started as that the songwriters were honored. I won the Songwriting Award 2018 for Bones, for Equinox. So basically for the song, not for the songs that I had the best results, but for Equinox I won the Songwriting Award. Backstage, they're giving backstage the Songwriting Award, kind of like in the rush before the final. And it's still, I'm still grateful that they still at least do this, but then you can see the whole thing, how a lot, this is not even my comment. I didn't think about it, but after they told me this, I really agree with them. Other songwriters said, but can you imagine we're getting an award backstage in a rush 10-15 minutes before the final, and then just to understand how the contest moved from a song contest songwriters like here to let's give them something in the backstage before the final, and this is the whole attitude towards songwriters. And as you know, there was recently a Facebook debate, some ex-head of delegations posted, what the fuck, now we have some problems with songwriters. I mean, this is the attitude in general. And then the same person, I looked at his statement when there was the cancellation, and you can translate from his native language in Facebook. You translate. He was saying, "I feel sorry for the countries, for the delegations, for the EBU, for the state, for the city of Rotterdam." And guess what? There was no "I feel sorry for the songwriters," which is, I'm not judging today, but it shows the general way of thinking. The general way of thinking of the non-creative part of the Eurovision. It shows actually that we're just there, and we should be lucky that we can participate. This is how the general comment are usually. Yeah, but you should be honored that you can write a song for Eurovision. But at the end of the day, let's break it down. The seed is the song. So the seed is the song, and this song starts to flourish, grow after the songwriter is pouring his creativity over that seed. And then from this seed, the tree is coming out, and that tree with full of fruits is the whole industry, music industry, the whole contest, and everyone is picking fruits from the manager, the artist, the publisher, the producer, the sound guy, the staging guy, the EBU, the sales, Spotify, whatever. All of these are these people who are taking the fruits. But it starts from one seed, which is the song, and the songwriters are the one who are. So this is the foundation, the backbone of everything.
And can we tease that out, actually? Can we use, I don't know, the example of Victoria's song, Tears Getting Sober, and how the seed involved quite a bit of songwriting camps, travel, distance, and expense? Could you walk us through that?
Yeah, that's also the other thing. You're totally right, William. We have to point out that most of the people, unfortunately, and this is why I'm not judging at all, actually, all of these non-creative people from the Eurovision field, who are more the organizationing part, business part. I cannot judge them because they don't have the experience. They don't know really why to write a song, how you write a song, what it needs, how much you put in. They don't know this. So I'm not judging them for not being experienced and don't have the knowledge about it, or underestimating it. Especially, I'm sure a lot of the fans don't know even about it. That's not a problem, because I don't know many things about too. I don't know how to run a EBU or something like that. I'm not experienced. I don't want now to say I can give you the best plan how to run the EBU for the next years. I cannot do it. But there is another thing, that then hire somebody and put him into this reference group. Then hire at least one person who can advise you, give you another aspect of when you make decisions like that. Why there is not even one person in that reference group who really is representing the rights, or at least knows really what it costs to the songwriters and to the artists and to the labels and publishers? This is what I don't understand too, to be honest. If you don't know something, this is not your fault, but then hire somebody who can be there and neutrally consult you. So this is about Victoria, the case. So here we speak also about, we have to point out again this huge disbalance between the small countries and the big countries, the countries with big budgets, governments who are standing really behind it, and the small countries who are every year, out of a miracle, somehow happen to be part of this, and then wishing out of miracle to have a good position, which going to mean so much to these small countries to have a success. It means more than to the big countries, I can tell you this for sure, and to the people in these countries, and even to have the chance to bring even home that trophy and to host. Maybe it will not make the government happy of this country because it has to pay for it, but it will make the country extremely happy, So I think these countries, and I can speak mostly about looking at Bulgaria, the main reason why Bulgaria didn't participate last year was because the government said, we don't have a budget for this. You will not participate. I'm not really I would say I cannot speak now in the name of the Bulgarian National Television. That would be unfair to speak in their name, because I'm not working there. I just work with them or for them. Actually, we always worked as partners. I never worked for them, actually, really. So we work together. So basically, I cannot really say now if they have felt the last years kind of neglected from as a small country in decisions. I cannot say this. You have to ask them. I personally saw that they made a statement that they're not okay with the decision. So, which shows in that case here that they were not considered as someone whose opinion is valuable. And now let's put together the last years. Since 2016, Bulgaria was 4th, 2nd, with Equinox 12th, but was also all the time among the favorites, as you remember, with Bones, in the forefield. And this year, at the time of cancellation, first in the odds and fairness, also could have won, could have been top 5, 3, but again in the forefield. And then let's look at countries like Sweden in these years. If you put together all of the results, then you will see Bulgaria has better points, better positions. And if you look at the songs, definitely songs which, let's say, were a lot, more edgier than the typical pop songs. That was also our goal, to make a progress for the contest itself. Like the Bulgarian entries, if you look at them, I mean, everyone, even the haters, if they look at them, can see there stands really hard work and creativity behind that, and they really brought a lot to the contest, to the progress of the contest in a musical way. And you see fans are commenting Bulgaria, the new Sweden, So basically, this country is not worthy to be asked about a country like that. I mean, I don't understand why. You know what I mean? This is, for me, one of the things that I also don't understand. But going back to your question, because I drifted a little bit, Victoria's story. So basically, after Bulgaria didn't participate, and there was no chance for Bulgaria to participate because of lack of a budget, and because our government had the feeling that actually the EBU really doesn't really so much care about Bulgaria. This is something that was in the media. I don't know if it's true or not, but it was some kind of statements in the media that they feel like Bulgaria really doesn't win a lot from this, which don't agree with, to be honest. I have to say I don't agree with. But that was the feeling. So you have to ask yourself why they had this feeling on one hand. And then Jenny Genoveva from Lignum Studios, the producer of Victoria, joined for the first time one of the symphonics camps, which we actually did then together in Sofia. And we started writing songs for Victoria. And by October this year, she already was part of 3 camps of symphonics. And during that time, she asked me, Boris, how can we now, what's the best way to present Victoria and her music out to the wider audience the best way? And I said to her, it is not only Eurovision. Eurovision helps, but you have to be prepared for after Eurovision. And if you do a song, it should be a song that is current and could survive everywhere, not only in Eurovision. And then that's a good start for an artist. Plus, it's going to be an honor for her to represent Bulgaria, and I knew that was a dream from her to represent Bulgaria in Eurovision. But I said, there is no chance because Bulgaria doesn't have money for it. So suddenly Jenny came back. She found the finances together with other people. They brought the budget together. They managed to make this happen. They managed to find the money that the BNT didn't have. And this is how they brought Bulgaria back. And that's really a big amount of money. I also don't want to say it now. There's Jenny. If Jenny wants to say it, she should say it. But I know the amount of money. So we did. She said, still, I know, Boris, that you have this big successes the last years. I know that you have also people and teams that they can join, but I still want to not to rely only on symphonics. I will do a songwriting camp in England. I will work with Swedish songwriters and everything. And then we're going to have like few sessions with you. And I said, okay, I think that's fair. Because by that time I already knew about Germany anyway. So I said, I'm already in the final. Let's say like that. So and then she did, when you count all of the songs done, there are around 40 songs, I think. If you consider ones from the summer, around 40 songs. And then they made this internal selection. There were 2 songs. Who won it was Tears Getting Sober and another song. And then we did 25 versions of Tears Getting Sober. I never in my life worked so much on a song. Never. Like 25 versions, so many months of working. And still, it was till the end, we didn't believe it's going to be that song. Because some people said it's not radio friendly, or maybe it's too slow because it's 58 BPM, by the way. I think it was the slowest song this year. So, and it won at the end of the day. And then suddenly, what? It didn't only win, great feedback, and even the chance for winning, which we didn't dream before that. I say again chance because I personally don't think that at all that you can say out of odds or in that field before the live performance if somebody can win. But you can say if somebody has a 90% chance of top 10 for sure. This I think. We can say there's a very big chance it would have been again in the top 10. Let's say it like that. And I think then after that, after this huge investment, this huge fight, bringing Bulgaria back with quality again, then so many head of delegation, I have to point out here really the head of delegation, for instance, of Iceland and Serbia and other ones, I think Croatia, I'm not sure, saying great, thank you for this beautiful entry of Bulgaria. There were also other head of delegations. Really, here you see there is this spirit of European like respect to each other. Yeah, some of the countries are doing this for sure. And then having this situation and then not being able to choose if you can put this song into again an internal selection with new songs that you write to give it at least a chance, I personally don't understand it. Who is this harming? Because I don't think there was some of my colleagues said maybe some of the, let's say, decision makers wanted to kill the strong songs. I really don't want to believe this, honestly, because this is too conspiracy theory, right? But that was the only answer that I received, honestly, on that question. So basically, if you ask a question like that, who is harmed by that? When I gave you the idea that I gave with putting down the songs, putting through selections again, who is harmed by that? And why should somebody don't want even to consider this option? The only answer I received was this, which is obviously a ridiculous answer, that somebody wants on purpose to kill the strong songs because we are not in the kindergarten. Yeah? But you see how absurd it is if you get only this kind of answer to such a question. So basically, maybe I really hope, and this I'm just speaking now openly, maybe there is an answer which nobody knows till now, and you can write down your opinion maybe below and say why you think that what is unfair. And I repeat again, under the circumstance that you're able to put down the song again for a while, to re-release it, revamped, to put it under internal selection again, knowing that the voting and the result is 50% by the jury who is voting to the performance, and 80% or even 85% of the people who are watching and sending the SMS or potential voters wouldn't have seen or heard the song and especially not in the version that will be staged. So putting all this together, just to have a free choice, to be able to use it.
And so what I'm hearing on some level is you guys, songwriters and delegations, would have liked some clarity from the EBU about how they reached their decision and why, which would then give people answers and avoid conspiracy theories such as we're killing the favorites.
No, nobody likes conspiracy theories. It's only about here, like, we are all fans of common sense and of logic and of fairness. Why then the delegations and the EBU and the reference group cannot be the same towards all the countries? Why they're not taking in consideration every country? Why the big countries don't help, give a hand to the small countries and say, you know what, we have the power, but we want to help you. You're in a bad situation. You invested so much money. You're back after 1 year out of nothing, and you have such a great result. We want to show you some from our side. We want you here, you know.
Absolutely.
You understand what I mean? I don't see this. I don't see this talking. And also, it's like in cliques, in groups a little bit. This country is this head of delegation a little bit good with them, this with them, this with them. I'm saying something now, maybe people are going to get mad at me that I'm talking out of the kitchen, but it is the truth. I don't want to hide things which are true, because I want to discuss here the fundamental issues of the Eurovision. It is like that. There is not this. How can it be that the Germany is not aware about this decision? I mean, I can understand. Bulgaria is used to be not asked. Lithuania is used to be not asked. Maybe Malta is maybe used to be not asked, but not to ask Germany even. So, and then serving maybe only the main interest of those countries who are having the national finals. The first country who reacted was Sweden. We want to have new songs. We want to have new artists. We want, and then following only that movement, and not. This is for me. And actually, if you look at the people who are invited at the reference group, most of them were also invited as juries at the Melodin Festival. So why is the Melodin Festival as something really amazing and big considered more important than so many small countries and their opinion and their investments and all the songwriters? When we look back at last years, if there was no Caesar Samson for Austria, I dare to say maybe there wouldn't have been the Mamas and John Ludwig, you know?
Oh, interesting.
Maybe. Who knows? If there was no If Love Was a Crime, maybe there wouldn't be a Fuego. I mean, it starts with the same notes anyway, the two songs.
And I suppose under your solution,
when If Love Was a Crime, it starts the same way. So maybe, you know? So let's put it like that. I want to say that I personally feel really that there is not the same way like we songwriters respect each other, the same way that the people behind the scenes, the workers respect each other, and the artists get friends with each other. I don't see the delegations being like that and the EBU being the same way towards each other. And the juries also. I don't see that. And I'm sure it's not like that because I have a lot of evidence about it and I saw it and experienced it. So my main question is why it has to be like that. And we're 2020, the whole world is changing now. And why we are doing this is I went into this thing by a clear conscience that there is a big chance we will change nothing, that the reference group will not change the decision. There's a big chance I will step on so many people's toes. I will get a lot of hater comments and go into a shitstorm. A lot of maybe not even being able to maybe to even work or maybe don't want to work anymore for Eurovision. I went into the clear conscience into this. But I just think that, especially after I saw the other colleagues talking to me and I heard their stories, I said, hey, I don't want to be silent anymore. I want to say the things how they are. And we want to say how the things how they are. Or there has to be time for another contest, which is honoring the songwriters and other things. So, which is not competing with Eurovision, but just to have another one. Because if this is called Eurovision Song Contest, and the goal is to put people together and countries and everybody is equal and everything, and it's not like that, and it's a Eurovision artist contest or Eurovision reference group contest, this reference group decisions contest, then I think maybe we are on the wrong place. Maybe we should not fight for something. We should leave them. Those songwriters who want, because there are going to be always young songwriters who want to have a chance, and they will. I don't think that Eurovision will not exist if we move, but maybe there's time for a different contest, for something that has a focus like that, like Eurovision used to be. You know, I'm like thinking loud out now. You know, like my thoughts were like that. I went into this by the very clear conscious that this will not be liked by everyone, not understood by everyone, but I just wanted not to be silent anymore. I saw people being afraid to speak out, talk to me being afraid to speak out, artists, delegations, songwriters, producers being afraid to speak out because they think that maybe they're going to be sabotaged or something will happen. I'm not afraid. I have so much around the Eurovision. I have wait for my second child now. I have a beautiful life. I'm grateful to God for giving me the opportunity to work. What a love for the friends, for the family that I have, for everything. I can also survive without Eurovision. But I actually love Eurovision. I love the basic idea of it, and I have so much good feelings and memories about it. And you and Devon and Sinan and the whole EBU Box team and other medias that I experience, I guys love you too, because you have such a positive aura always, and you're also a very important part of that whole thing, to hype the things, to inform the people. So I would miss Eurovision, but I think if it continues to be like that, I personally will not want to be part of this anymore. I can speak about myself, and I'm sure that maybe the EBU and some delegation or reference group will also not like me to be part of this when we don't come together. So I think, let's say it like that, this is something that will be seen in the future. So sorry that I talked get a little bit emotional here. I wanted actually not to be emotional in this interview, and but somehow when I remembered all the beautiful moments and everything, I got emotional, because you just feel, okay, why can't they not make an exception and leave the choice to us? Why? Who is it harming? Where is this injustice? Because they said it will be not fair towards the new songs. I mean, if you give the free choice to every country and everybody's making his free choice, there is anyway not a question of unfairness, because you take the responsibility for your own choice.
Exactly.
Yeah. So basically, why you want to tell me, and then there is the other comment, if you use the old songs, it will be bad for you because you will not have a good result. So you want to say, please don't be my savior. If I want to make my decision and I believe in my song, it's my problem if I do bad after that. Don't try to be, and for those who say, I'm already now bored of the songs, guy, you're not alone. There's so many million people who haven't listened to that song yet, and you haven't saw it on the stage with the new staging version. You haven't, so how you want to say you're going to be bored? You're bored of streaming it, then don't stream it, but wait for the staging. So there is no logic behind that. And because there is no logic behind it, I have to repeat again, like absurd statements come that there is maybe conspiracy, let's kick out the strong songs. I mean, this is something, it's too far. But always when you don't have a logic answer, the absurd answers are coming.
Yeah.
So
Borislav Milanov, this has been so illuminating. Thank you so much for sharing your perspective in such a civil, polite way. I really appreciate it. I'm sure there are going to be lots of questions in the comment section for you, and I hope we'll hear your answers.
Thank you very much, William. I'm happy for this opportunity, and in the name of all the songwriters that I've read the statements and all others which I didn't read their statements. But we are now collecting all the signatures. They're getting more and more every day, and we will soon post the petition with all the comments. People will see each songwriter, what he said. This is something that will follow. I think, of course, I'm not sure if I can answer everyone's questions below this video. And I think, actually, to be honest, I said everything that I have to say. So I don't know if there's something really specific that I haven't said. Of course, I'm gonna answer on it. But basically, here is the question now: if we're gonna hear back from the EBU and the reference group, and if and how this is going to continue, what efforts the EBU and the reference group is willing to do to make songwriters feel better about this songwriting competition. I think that's how I think it should move forward, because obviously, as you see, there are so many who want to go away, who are not happy, and in this not only, and as you see, it's not only this situation now. This is maybe the peak for it. But it's not only this. And I personally have to say, I don't think that we have to be like so much like in the spotlight like the artist, to be honest. I don't think personally like that. But when it comes to decisions that have been made, crucial decisions, I think we should be equally involved and considered like the artists and the delegations. This is how I feel about that. I personally think that, of course, it started as the songwriters got their award and everything, but times change. Fans are more interested into the artists. I totally understand it. I was also a fan of musicians, and I never looked up who is the songwriter. I mean, before I became a songwriter as a teenager. So I understand this, and the spotlight should be for the artists. But when it comes to making decisions that could harm someone, I think we should be equally considered, equally with everyone else involved. This is what I believe in.
Blago Daria, danke schön. You are so eloquent.
Thank you for this, and to all the fans and all the viewers and followers of EBU blogs. I wish you much health, of course. Stay safe, stay home, but at the same time, don't lose your I would say your motivation and your love for life. Don't get depressed. Try not to think only about this disease, and try to live your life as it is, try to live your life as it is as possible as much as possible, because at the end of the day we cannot live it like that. But at least don't think only about this disease. Don't get panicked. And I can tell you one thing for sure: fresh air, somehow, if it's possible, for those countries who don't have the restriction, and positive vibes is bringing the immune system up, and keeping your head busy with other stuff than the coronavirus. This is definitely helping you more stay safe than only focusing and being afraid and looking at the numbers all the time. This is actually the opposite effect. This is bringing your risk higher to get something. This is something, it's not my invention. You can read it. A lot of doctors, professors are saying this. This is how I'm trying to treat it. Yeah. So I'm trying to be with my family, to do music, to try to think positive. In my case, also to pray. This is for people who like to pray and who believe. And also to keep myself busy with things like this, like it's.
I play Bulgaria 2016 on loop. It helps me. Oh, daj mi Lubovta. There we go.
That's really